Hello. Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 172 of Clash. The Sibling Rivalry Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Knighthood, and with me as always is...
It's your boy Tiz. What's good? What's good?
I almost didn't have to synthesize the thunder the thunder sound effect today. Because I came in on the tail end of a thunderstorm this afternoon. It was terrifying. The streetlights were out. I almost died. Um, Everyone's melting. There's no air conditioning. It's crazy. Welcome to the show. We're still going through with it. How are you, Tiz? Are you alive?
Yeah, I'm actually great news. I'm actually in a much better mood than I could have been today because I had a very, very crucial breakthrough with my code at work today.
That's good.
So I actually feel pretty good. I feel like I accomplished something in life.
Oh, you mean your what did you call it earlier? An endless puzzle cube?
I think I said like
A never-ending
puzzle game. Yeah, that's what I said. And in a topic that I'm gonna talk about soon in my week, I hate puzzles. I'm not a fan. They irritate me. They frustrate me. But there's this thing in my brain where I can't stop until I solve it. And sometimes I'll cheat. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll look up the answer. But for my job, I can't really do that. So it's just frustration until I eventually beat my head through the brick wall and then figure out the answer, which is what happened earlier today. So
yeah, I hope you don't lose that bet I forgot about, so that you don't have to play that point and click puzzle game.
I hope I don't either. Y'all are just gonna see me get frustrated on camera.
I also had a similar breakthrough earlier this week, but mine was just like, oh, no, it doesn't deserve applause. It
Oh.
was literally just me being like, don't let them notice that I didn't really do anything. Okay, cool. All right.
Nobody noticed. I'm in the clear.
Let's get our tasks to move forward.
I get that though. Like it'd be like that sometimes, to be honest.
But yeah,
really
no,
do.
it's like, or it's that sentiment of like, is that little bit I did enough
Yeah.
to suffice?
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but yeah,
Hey, real quick, shout out to the programmers out there, by the way, because it's hard, yo.
Oh, Tiz had a really hard day today.
I just gotta shout y'all out. Like it's hard. Y'all need some love. Programmers everywhere need some love because it's hard.
I only say that because I know you hate work. Like you hate work, probably more. You might hate work more than I do.
Yeah.
So for you to bring it up this much in our podcast is a lot.
I know.
So I'm like, you had a day.
Tried 2 months.
Oh no.
2 months.
That's something that we talked about before, where it's like I tell people all the time that, like, as much as I might gripe about the awkward situations that my unique job has, I don't experience crunch. Like my job, they like specifically try not to have situations of crunch. They're like anti-crunch, where you've told me that you do have crunch. So yeah, I can understand where
my job believes
like, nah.
my job believes in taking on more work and letting go more people so that the smallest amount of people possible do the most amount of work. That's like their mission statement is, how can we as a company get the most amount of work out of the smallest amount of people? That's like their mission statement.
They're honing the next shonen crew. You know what I mean? They're trying to make that Straw Hat team. You know,
I'm gonna freaking, what's that thing Madara did where he pulled the jutsu he did where he pulled the meteor out the sky? I'm gonna do that to my company. That's what I'm a shonen. That's the shonen they're gonna get out of me.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. Chibaku Tensei, something like that. It's like
I saw. Why did I like recently just YouTube Shorts like threw time skip Sarada in my face for no reason?
Yo,
I was like,
YouTube Shorts
chill.
is spoilery. You gotta be careful.
I don't even look up Naruto. Like, why are you throwing this in my face?
You got to be real careful with YouTube Shorts.
Whew.
If one or two spoilers get in your algorithm, they're gonna flood. Like, they're gonna
I
flood.
don't even know I don't even think I was spoiling anything else. I don't know where that came from. But
Yeah.
sorry. But
That's
anyway,
weird.
y'all, if you guys got through some significant challenges recently, you could email us at siblingrivalryclash@gmail.com. You could tweet at us at srclash._pod. I know we recently had some significant email go out from SR Clash. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it was because that's none of your business. But we did. Just letting you know.
Moves
Whatever.
happening. Moves being
It's
made.
cool. It's cool. You know, no, we're not no RDC world or whatever, but
Yeah.
we're doing stuff. We still trying to do stuff. We got
Clash Con coming soon.
It's just people fighting in the street.
No type of organization whatsoever.
We couldn't get people to actually show up, so we just started inviting people to fight in the street, and we called it Clash Con.
Look, we just went like downtown to like at night where a crowd already existed, and we just put up a booth with our sign on it, and then just filmed it and called it a convention.
And we held out mics and we talked to people. And we said, "What did you do this year at Clash Con?"
Most of them were confused, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yo, we're gonna send that video of all our interview footage to Adult Swim. They're gonna air that shit at 3 a.m., 3:45 a.m. as a bumper special between like a rerun of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And we're gonna skyrocket. We're gonna go viral.
I think we actually would, to be honest. Like,
we're gonna be the next Too Many Cooks. Telling you. All right.
Yo, that's hilarious.
Guys, if you want us to do that for real, we'll do that. And you should email us at siblingrivalryclash@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at srclash. I'm sorry. It's not a tweet. Why didn't I change that? It's an X.
I hate this rebrand so much.
You can exit us at...
Doesn't even roll off the tongue anymore.
Do you still are there hashes there? Do you still...
Yeah, they're still hashed. They're not... Okay. Thank God they didn't change those to X's.
Yeah, that would be awkward.
X tag clash. That'd be disgusting.
But yeah, you can X message us at...
I hate this.
I don't know how to communicate anymore,
Just get through
guys.
it. I hate it.
Okay.
I hate it.
You can X tweet us at srclashpod_pod. And we'll go out on the streets at ClashCon, which will just be raw street fights. And we'll get that to Adult Swim.
World Star 2.0.
Oh, I wish ClashCon was just World Star 2.0.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
That's nuts.
All right, so I have something to share here at the top because we were gone for a little while again. I did some stuff while I was gone, so
let me know.
I went to an international food market, because I like to taste exotic things. So I'm gonna share some exotic things.
Ooh,
first.
It's like show and tell.
Yeah. So first, I have some delicious Katsugi gummies. I think they are called Katsugi grape gummies.
Interesting.
And each Katsugi grape gummy is deliciously individually wrapped for your consumption. So you would I've already unwrapped one, but I'm not going to do it right now. So each gummy, I don't know if you regularly eat gummies at my house, but you have never seen each gummy is individually
No, I haven't.
wrapped.
I definitely havenent. What's it taste like? What's the flavor like?
It literally tastes like grape Kool-Aid. It's crazy.
That's fair.
So I had somebody recommend these to me. So, I'm sorry, it's not Katsugi, it's Kasugai. I had somebody recommend these to me actually at home in Delaware.
Oh,
but
wow.
They said they found them at a store, I think in Wilmington. And
we don't have an H Mart, right? In Delaware?
Don't.
Okay.
We do not. So yeah, but they tasted like grape Kool-Aid. Very strong purple grape flavor.
I don't know why, but I have this weird thing in my head that Asian snacks, not snacks, but like candy specifically, aren't ever gonna be as like sweet or have the same texture as our stuff. Don't ask me why I feel like that. I have no idea.
They are on average less sweet than American candy.
Okay.
Yes. You are
Okay,
not wrong
so I didn't
about
just
that.
pull that out of
But
nowhere.
that has like, you know how like fruit gummies are generally like fruit sweet, so it's
Yeah,
like that's relatively comparable to an American fruit snack.
got you. I love fruit snacks too, by the way. Like
Well, I thought of you when I
Welch's.
got those, so I was like, yeah. That's what I would compare that to. But that is like, yeah, that purely tastes more like Kool-Aid, and Kool-Aid don't taste like fruit.
No, Kool-Aid tastes like sugar,
Yeah.
artificial.
Yes. So these are the ones that I find most intriguing. I'm not open these yet. So you have to look on the back because there's no English on the
My
front of
favorite chip
these.
brand. First of all, I
These
love
are
Lay's.
Lay's potato chips roasted chicken wings flavored.
That
I've
actually
not
sounds
opened these yet.
banging.
But
I'm not gonna lie.
you look at that. Look at that deep wave.
That wave is deep, super deep.
That's gonna be a deep crunch when I get into
I could
it.
surf on that, Joel.
Like, get lost in that wave.
Literally.
Right. So I'm gonna try that.
Those look good. I'm not gonna lie.
This is another one that I've had this one. So, okay, this one is a unique one.
Okay.
We're from Delaware, so we've had a crab chip.
Oh yeah.
Everybody from Delaware and Maryland's had a crab chip.
I miss them actually.
But this is called fried crab flavor. The difference between this and so this has no Old Bay flavor. This tastes like crab meat. It is the most interesting crab chip. I've saved some. I want Tiz to try it.
I'm gonna try it soon, for sure.
But they taste like the crab meat.
Yeah.
They don't taste like Old Bay. Like every crab chip in Delaware tastes like
literally like Old Bay.
Smattered in Old Bay.
It's just Old Bay chips. That's really what normal.
This is like a crab meat with like a hint of a like a spicy, like maybe like a sriracha, like a very light pepper flavor at the end of it. Like a seafood salad flavor.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, now everybody loves a sun chip, right?
Classic.
Do you love a garlic baguette sun chip? Because I love garlic bread.
I love garlic. Period.
I love a garlic bread.
Oh my god, yeah.
But do you love a sun chip garlic bread?
I'm down. I would try it.
Me and my friend, we had these for 2 weeks, and we finally tried these 2 days ago.
Why the long wait?
Because every time we were about to eat these, we ended up eating real food instead, and then we were like, "That's not gonna taste right after you eat real food."
Yeah.
So this tastes like buttered popcorn with garlic on it.
Ooh.
So
you messed me up there a little bit.
When you open it and smell it, you get the immediate hint of garlic.
That's what I love.
But it's like a overwhelmingly like artificial butter smell. So it's almost like you're about to eat like theater popcorn.
Yeah.
But then you eat it and you immediately get overwhelmed by sun chip.
Oh, so it still has the sun chip flavor.
Yes, so
Interesting.
There's no garlic bread. It's all garlic butter and sun chip.
I guess the sun chip's supposed to be the bread. Supposed to fill in for the bread.
It's like you're like chewing and you're like, oh, it's all artificial butter, but then you get the sun chip and then you're like, sun chip. So then you're like, I think I like this by the time you get to the end of it. And so like I kind of had one and I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then my friend was like, had eaten like 5 and they were like,
addiction.
I don't know if I like this.
Still eating.
And I was like, you're eating a lot of those for not liking them. But I was like, I would finish these like if I'm just snacking on them by themselves. But I think they tried. You know what I'm saying? Like it definitely has it does taste like garlic bread. It's not a cheesy garlic bread. It's regular garlic bread. So, but yeah, like, and that's like me getting rushed through the aisles because it was a very crowded Saturday when I went. So I'm definitely gonna go back.
Take your time
on another day, probably with Tiz's girlfriend, and
look around, shop around.
I literally go like my friend. We're standing there, and I go, now let's find some shrimp chips. Like joking, and then like not even joking.
Turn the corner.
10 bags of shrimp chips, and I was like, okay, that wasn't fun because they were right there.
It was too easy.
It was too easy.
Yeah. You gotta think of something. You gotta think of something weirder.
No, they had chocolate and vanilla chips.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Separately.
Yeah.
So don't think I'm trying those. I'm not interested in sweet chips.
Yeah, that seems kind of weird.
Maybe sweet corn. I will try a sweet corn chip. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go scour those aisles slowly and see what I can.
When I think about it, so a chip that's flavored like vanilla is one thing. But when I think of like a chip that's like either dipped in vanilla or like dipped in white chocolate, I don't like regular chocolate, so that's why I'm only saying white chocolate. But reminds me or makes me think a lot about of like those pretzels that are coated. And I'm like wondering if it would be a similar dynamic there.
I'm thinking from the picture, I think it was dipped.
Okay, so it actually was dipped.
I'm also thinking there's a coating aspect. I'm thinking there's a dusting aspect to this.
Probably.
But I'm hardcore thinking there's a potato.
What you mean?
Involved. Like it's a potato chip.
Oh, like it's a real potato chip. It's not a corn
cracker.
Chip.
It's not a
Got you.
Yeah.
That seems solid.
So yeah, just thought I'd share that.
That's dope.
I didn't think I would get access to the exotic snakes.
Yeah.
And then they had every other flavor of Kit Kat, but
of course,
I'm not that into Kit Kats.
They probably had the Reese's of all the crazy flavors. They probably had like the drinks, like the weird Mountain Dews and all that stuff. The weird sodas and all that.
I didn't even get to beverages. They had a whole aisle of sake and beer that I was afraid to walk down. And then the endless aisle of instant noodles that I wanted to stand in forever.
Yeah.
And
that's probably a good one.
But yeah, I didn't the drinks I need to stare at that more. So yeah, we'll do a study.
Dope.
I'll take some pictures for you to put on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. Shoot, you can take some pictures. Well, if you want it to be for the next one, I was gonna say you can take some pictures of those, and I can make it the banner or whatever.
Oh yeah, no, we'll do a better rundown.
Cool.
Cause I like the Ramoon soda.
Mm-hmm.
The Ramoon soda.
Is that the ball soda?
Yeah. The way they had the like rainbow.
Yeah. All the flavors.
Convenience stand. Yeah, look nice.
That'd be cool. Presentation's important, I think.
Yeah. No, you should have seen the tower of rice cookers as you were leaving.
Were they themed like the Pokemon one?
No, I wish.
They're just regular.
They did have Hello Kitty ones, and they had Hello Kitty toilet paper and paper towels.
Oh my God, Katie's gonna go nuts. She's actually gonna buy it. She's gonna have to buy that.
Wipe your Hello Kitty butt.
Sparkles.
She'd be like, no, Hello Kitty is only for blowing your nose.
Hello Kitty tissues. They probably had that too.
Yeah, man. All right, what did you do in your absence?
So I did a couple things. I'm gonna kind of brush over quick, but a couple things I want to spend a little bit of time on. So, firstly, I beat Final Fantasy 16. I don't remember if I said that yet or not on here, but great game. I loved it. One thing that I wanted to point out is that I'd spent a couple episodes talking about how it's exactly like Game of Thrones, but there is a point towards the end where it completely shifts from Game of Thrones to straight up galaxy-wide existential crisis Final Fantasy level nonsense, which I really love and appreciate. So I ended up being really happy on that. There were some slow parts in the middle of the game that you kind of got to push through a little bit, but I think the payoff at the end was worth it, and there was kind of like a twist. The big story twist was one that I wasn't really expecting, and I don't think I've seen it in I've seen a similar thing in Final Fantasy story before, but not this exact thing. So I'll just leave it on that, saying that it was a great game. I don't think did
he get stabbed by all his brothers of the Night's Watch and then brought back to life?
No, they
was that the twist?
They left Game of Thrones before they got to that point.
Oh, okay.
Thankfully. Thankfully.
Wait.
Yeah.
Was he getting married to one of the other families in the north, and then everybody got stabbed, and then his sister just happened to also be there, and she ran out of the wedding?
No, but fun fact, he did get the girl. His love interest in the game is a white-haired girl, just like Danny and John.
Daenerys.
But thankfully, she's not his aunt or his niece or whichever way it was. They weren't related, so
okay,
we're good on that part. But after playing this game, going into it, I thought it might have had a really good shot for Game of the Year. But after playing it, I don't really think it does enough different to do that. It's really just a super straightforward, super linear, long cutscene story game. Nothing innovative, nothing new, which I think is kind of a requirement for a Game of the Year candidate. But I do still think great game nonetheless. And then moving on from that, so I actually tried the game Divinity Original Sin 2. You probably heard of it before, but because of all the Baldur's Gate 3 hype, side note, I actually do think Baldur's Gate 3 will probably win Game of the Year. But we can get into that closer to when that stuff is all going on and whatnot. But just take a note. I'm calling it right now. That's Tiz saying it right now. I'm calling that before everybody else starts saying it. But I tried Divinity 2, and I want to say I understand. And for those that don't know, Divinity 2 is like a classic. God, there's a term for it. It's an RPG, but it's not a JRPG, and it's not a Western RPG. It's like a Dungeons and Dragons classic old school type RPG, but for modern consoles, for the modern era. And it's
like a Skyrim.
Do you remember that game Dragon Age?
Yes.
It's like that.
Okay.
Or the Star Wars game Knights of the Old Republic, or
okay.
Not really Mass Effect. I wouldn't say Mass Effect, but definitely Dragon Age is a derivative of this style of game. But it's top down, it's isometric. You control a party. It's very, very, very deep mechanically and systems wise. Like, it's a tactical combat system, kind of like, not quite like Fire Emblem. Like, think of Fire Emblem, but you're not on a grid. It's just free form. Right. You can go wherever, do whatever. So that's the combat, and it's very, very story and dialogue option heavy. It's very like skill check. Like, my persuasion skill is this, so I can persuade people easier and stuff like that. It's got so many different endings and pathways you can take through the game, and characters you can miss, and items you can miss, and all that type of stuff. So I get why people love it. But I think for me, it's mainly the combat that kind of holds me back from like really being able to just sit down and play through this type of game. I'm still going to try Baldur's Gate 3 just because I feel like I have to, but I do think the combat's probably going to be a hang up still in that game, because it's essentially the same style of combat. And I'm just not really, aside from Fire Emblem, I'm not really a tactical combat type of person. But I say that to say, like, I do think I do understand why so many people love it. And I actually, instead of playing through it, I immediately, pretty much after spending a couple hours with it, I looked up a story, like an in-depth story recap on YouTube. So now I'm just watching like someone do a succinct version of a playthrough while they explain the story to me, because the story and stuff and the plot and all that, it was super, super interesting. And like, I still kind of wanted of Divinity.
Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. And I still kind of want to experience like what the game has to offer. I just don't want to play it. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a game like that where
always.
Yeah, it's like I want to experience this game, but I just can't push myself through to play it. Like, I just don't.
It's like, have you ever heard of I Have No Mouth, But I Must Scream?
Nah.
Yeah.
Is that a game?
That's 100% one of those games.
Okay.
It's a really old game.
So it's probably
based on a book.
It's got like archaic mechanics that are hard to like.
It's a point and click game. It's not even like, but it's got a like crazy. You gotta understand the story to progress through the point and click mechanics.
And it's probably unforgiving. It's like super unforgiving. Yeah. And that's kind of how this game is too. Like, it won't stop you from making mistakes. Like, your characters can just die and be gone for the rest of the entire game. Like, your characters can turn on you and fight you based on certain decisions. You can all types of different. So you can miss key items super easy and just get stuck. So it's got all that stuff that I don't know. There's so many games I want to play. I don't really have time to just deal with that for hours and hours and hours. But I get it. I definitely get it. And same with Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I get why it's so hype right now. So that's Divinity Original Sin 2. And then the thing I really want to talk about. So you talked to me a while ago about Remnant 2. And I want to say I was wrong, first of all. For some reason, I thought Remnant 1 was a completely different game than what it was. Because I don't know if you remember, we had that conversation. I was like, oh, it's just, It's like Gears of War and Dark Souls, but I'd rather just play either of those games. But like, I don't know why I was thinking Remnant was a cover shooter. It's literally not a cover shooter. Like, there's
I'm
no.
like, we played it together. You
I know,
didn't
but
hate it, but you had just already, when we played it, you were just like, I've already played it with my friends.
Yeah, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just wrong place, wrong time type of thing. But and I also don't like cover shooters. So when we doubled back and you were talking to me about Remnant 2, I had a cover shooter in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And Remnant doesn't have a cover mechanic. It's not a cover shooter. It's literally Dark Souls with guns.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That's
so
why I was like, I didn't understand why you were so aggro.
I know we're disconnecting. I was like, this is not my type of game. But I was wrong.
I was
on
so
that.
sad that day. Like I walked away with my head down.
yeah. No, that's my bad. I was definitely wrong. I should have more faith in you. But
because I was like, oh, if I have to play this by myself, I was like, this game was hard.
It is, yeah.
To play by yourself.
No, for real. And I started watching a bunch of videos, which started getting me hype about Remnant 2 and how they expanded it from Remnant 1. And so I had Remnant 1 from when it was free on PlayStation or whatever. And so I was like, I heard this was a super short game or a pretty short game. So let me go back and see how far I can get up until the launch of Remnant 2. And I ended up beating Remnant 1 before Remnant 2 came. Yeah. So it only takes like 20 hours. It's not super long. What makes it long is the roguelikeness of it. So if you want to engage with the new game plus and all that,
are mean.
One thing I love about Remnant though, even compared to Dark Souls, like I would actually maybe make this change in Dark Souls, and people might kill me for this, but when you die in Remnant, you don't gotta run back to find your body or nothing like that. You just go back to your bonfire, your checkpoint, and you just try again. Like, I never realized how annoying the mechanic is and how off-putting it is that when you die, you lose like half of your progress. Like, you lose all of your progress unless you can make it back and go get it. And that, even like playing Dark Souls and Sekiro and some of the harder Souls games, that's literally made me put the game down for like weeks before. And I'm like, all right, I'm frustrated. But with Remnant, it's so easy. It's like, if I die, it matters because you're losing time. So I feel like I still feel the incentive to not die, but I feel more free. I don't feel like I have to inch around every corner.
Get back to the salt mine, son.
Yeah. So it's like, I really appreciate that playing through Remnant 1. But now playing 1 and 2, I definitely see they made a lot of improvements with 2. Like, 1 was kind of there was no class system. It was kind of just, it had very, very roguelike DNA to it. Like, it was just like, here's your character. You kind of.
What was it? It was like, there was like, was it like short, mid, and long range? Wasn't it? Kind of?
Yeah, basically, but they weren't even classes. Like, whichever one you picked, you could pretty much in like a couple of hours, you could get the items from the other classes. Yeah. Like, and so, which I like that. I actually do like that. Because it doesn't feel like pressured that you're making a wrong decision when you start the game, which I often feel in like class-based games. But you can tell how it was kind of bare bones because it was just like, go into a level, it's very linear, kill the mobs, reach the next checkpoint, eventually you get to the boss, kill the boss, go back to the world, go to the next world. The story was not super interesting, but you can see where it had potential. And there was only like 3 worlds, I think, in the base game of Remnant. There was some DLC too that came out later. But in the base game, I think it was like 3 worlds. So a super short game, super like proof of concept-y feeling, but very solid. Like, the shooting was very smooth. The dodging and movement and stuff was all very smooth. But going on to Remnant 2, they expanded a lot. There's a bunch of classes now. There's puzzles now, which is one thing I don't like about Remnant 2. There's hard puzzles, like Zelda level, like not Zelda, but I'll compare them to like like Uncharted puzzles or like Tomb Raider puzzles. So they're not like,
you gotta look around, you gotta
read books and
your
like
environment.
Yeah, get clues from notes and piece stuff together.
You mean Resident Evil puzzles?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that too. Yeah. No, good. Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm like, Uncharted puzzles are like, shoot a totem, look at a ledge, jump off this
harder
thing.
than that. Okay, harder than that.
I'm like, Resident Evil puzzles are like, okay, you remember that picture you looked at in that other room?
That's what it is. That's and there's a lot of them too. Like, I was like, I didn't expect this game to have this many puzzles. Like, So,
All
and
right.
I'm looking them up though. I'm
Yes.
not. I'm
This
not.
is where I excel.
I'm
No, you
googling.
need me. No, you
Yeah.
need me now.
Yeah.
This is where I'm good
Exactly.
at.
I'm putting you on the
Yeah.
puzzle work because I be tapped out. I don't be trying to think that hard. Um. So yeah, that's one. They have puzzles now. The worlds are more open. They're still kind of linear, but there's more room for exploration in each map.
Okay.
And it still has that randomly generated roguelite each run type of thing where you can
Gotcha.
re-roll the campaign, get new tile sets, have a slightly different campaign from other people, which I like that stuff. Way more weapons in this game. One other thing that I really like about this game and that I almost feel like didn't exist anymore is that you kill a boss in this game, you just get their weapon. You just get their
Oh,
item. There's no
nice.
RNG. There's no kill the boss 500 times and hope for a drop. You kill a boss, you get that boss's item, you make the weapon. It's that simple. I love that. I want more games to do that. Please start respecting my time more. Because I'm the type I will grind if I must for RNG. Um, so yeah, that's another good thing. And then the one big negative that I have with this game though, and it was really making me mad the other night. So they have starter classes and they have hidden classes.
Mm-hmm.
I won't spoil what the hidden classes are, but just one of them that it's a summoner class. And they in Remnant 1, there was no classes, but they had skills. And they still have skills in this game in addition to the classes, but they had skills in Remnant 1 where you could summon things, and that's what I used through my whole Remnant 1 playthrough. And that's what I do in a lot of games. I really like companion classes. I like having a little pet fight beside me. Um, and so going into Remnant 2, I really want to play this summoner, but it's one of the hidden classes, and the hidden classes are locked behind various conditions. But I don't know how many of the classes are like this, but I know this one is like this. This class, and I hate when games do this, is locked behind the absolute worst RNG I've ever seen in my life. Like I'm talking like
Oh no.
it feels like
It's
one in
Declan.
it feels like 1 in 20,000 chance to get the conditions to line up right to then
Oh no.
farm the RNG material to then get this class item to then unlock this class. And I really hate when games lock core mechanics like classes, like a class that might make somebody's playthrough more or less fun behind just pure busted RNG that doesn't make sense.
You know I
So
quit Genshin because I never got Razor, right?
literally, yeah, literally.
He's C tier.
And you know what makes it worse with this? So I was gonna say $70 game, but it's not. Thankfully, it's a $50 game. So shout out to them for a $50 game. But it's a $50 game. Don't make me literally have to win the lottery to play one of the basic classes in the game. Like it feels so dumb.
Yeah, that's tough.
So yeah, I was grinding that for like hours last night, and I eventually I got it, but it I put the controller down immediately after. I was like, I'm done with this. But I'm gonna play more later still. But that's really the one negative thing I would say. But otherwise, I would say it's pretty much all improvements over the first game. So yeah, that's kind of Remnant 1 and 2.
Nice. I'm glad to hear.
It's good. Yeah, I think you'll like it when you play it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me for the time we've been gone.
How
How
often
about
are
you?
you playing it? Have you fully switched on to it, or were you just testing it out?
No, I've been playing it pretty much every night. Not for super long. Like I played it mostly over the weekend, like for the longest amount of time nonstop. But during the weeknights, I'll probably play it for like maybe an hour, maybe two. Uh, it's really good at that too. Like jump in, jump out, because you can jump in, play through one checkpoint to the next checkpoint, jump out, come back, you'll be right back at that next checkpoint. So it's got a really good like jump in, jump out type of vibe to it, which I appreciate too. It's very hard to like forget what you were doing with this type of game, which is good. But yeah, mostly good things to
Nice.
say about that.
I didn't do very much at all. I've still been grinding through the same games. I'm still I'm doing that thing. I'm about to text you and be like, I'm doing that thing again where I like 95% a game and then don't want to finish it because then it means it's over.
God, you and
So
Katie, man.
I'm sitting in the final boss fight of Shadow Hearts. And I'm like, I want to finish it because I
There's
want to
two
get
other games.
I know.
Just
I
finish
want
the
to get
first
to them.
one.
I will. I promise. And then, so I, of course, I'm sitting in that boss fight, and I'm like, I think the problem with that is that the last fight took me so freaking long that I'm afraid
Really?
that I'm gonna like get 3/4 of the way through this dude's health and then
Die
die,
and then be frustrated.
or get stuck in like a berserker chain where all of my characters are going into berserker mode and I
Yeah.
keep dying. Like, I'm afraid that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I think I'm prepared enough this time though. I might be okay.
Yeah.
But I'm also like still in dicey dungeons
Mm.
where like I'm trying to beat all of the dungeons for each of the characters
Mm.
because they opened up 2 more DLCs
Oh,
for
nice.
that game. So I was trying to beat the original game so I
To
could
get
get
before
to
you
the
can get there.
DLCs.
Yeah.
But I cleared 1 more dungeon for the witch, but there were like 2 more dungeons after that, and it's a roguelike, so you gotta just beat it all at once or
Yeah.
you don't beat it.
Yeah.
So and then I also started playing Into the Breach again, which is also
Oh.
a roguelike,
Yup.
which is also like if you don't beat it all at once,
Gotta
you
start
don't
over.
beat it.
That one's harder
um,
too, right? I heard
that
Into the
game
Breach was
is
hard.
so hard. I
Yeah.
was playing like of course I restarted, right? Because it's like one of the for me it's like if I got to get into the zone and it's like I can't have all this progress, leave it for 2 years, come
Yeah.
back to all that progress and just get good again.
Hop
Like
back in. Yeah. It's
no, it
hard.
never works. So like
It's hard.
I had to clear my progress and then I'm like trying to get back to where I was and I was like how was I doing? Like I was like why do I suck? I didn't suck this much before. Like I cannot clear a map.
Yeah.
Why? Why can I not clear an island? I was like, I used to get to the 3rd island easy.
You was
Why
locked
can I
in.
not clear the 1st island?
You was locked in
Like,
back then.
so bad. So that was like hurting my pride this week. Was like just getting destroyed by bugs
Yeah.
over and over and over.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I didn't even like get outside of that. So out games wise, and I am slowly like I keep slowly progressing through Alan Wake, like a chapter at a checkpoint at a time. I'll like
Mhm.
I stop. If anyone's familiar with Alan Wake, the checkpoints are like under spotlights.
Mm.
So like I'll progress a spotlight at a time because
Yeah.
it's really easy. Thank you, PS Remote Play. It's really easy to just boot that John
Hop
up,
in.
run from one spotlight, shoot a couple dudes, run
Yeah.
to the next spotlight checkpoint, and
How
then
is that? How is that
drop
game
out.
with like the shooting and aiming over remote play? Like, does the latency
It
bother you?
Yeah, there's some times where it's super laggy and it's almost unplayable, but the same was happening for Resident Evil.
Mm.
But then there's other times where it's super snappy and it's
Yeah.
fine. But yeah, even when it's laggy, I can get used to the lag in
Yeah.
some instances, but Alan Wake is forgiving in that the flashlight is your reticle. It's like the whole flashlight beam, it seems to be your reticle.
Mm.
So it's a little forgiving in that way. Plus you're shooting most of the time you're shooting with a revolver. So it's like how accurate are you anyway? You're
Yeah.
like you're a shaky author with a revolver and a flashlight. Like you're not doing that great to begin with.
Yeah.
You're doing one of so
Feel that.
that's like all I've been pretty much doing for gaming. I do want to get my hands on Remnant. I still like, and then I'll like wake up in the middle of the night and be like, God of War, ha! I'm like, Ragnarok, ha! I haven't touched it yet. Like,
Yo.
I have like nightmare, like fever dreams of
Oh my
like
god.
the games that I haven't like actively thought about in
a
weeks
while.
that are like like Kratos is like, girl, touch my game.
That's so random too. That's funny.
Because I want to play it and it's just
It's
so
awesome.
far from like my
Yeah.
zeitgeist of like current
But it is,
things.
I think God of War is one of those where you gotta lock in. Like you gotta, this is the game I'm playing. Because if you stop that one, you're gonna forget all the story that happened. You can't just hop back into it after you like stop midway through. So you gotta like lock in.
Needless to say, I'll be saving up another 2 weeks vacation to
Knock these
disappear into the cave of games.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only other thing I really did is like I tried to catch up on some TV. I did catch up on anime, but we'll talk about that later as always. and I did watch a couple of movies outside of catching. I usually spend a lot of time catching other people up on movies,
Mm.
but I did catch up on this new horror movie called Cobweb that I watched last night and legitimately scared the crap out of myself.
Oh my god.
I had to do that. So I have this magic trick for anybody that wants to appear brave while watching a horror movie and like doesn't want to like leave the room, or doesn't want to say no, I don't want to watch that because I'm actually a coward. So one of the things that I do, it's the
What?
secret of the trade. One of the things that I do when when because if you watch enough horror movies, when something scary is about to happen,
Yeah.
right? They signal it to you,
Yeah.
and a lot of people will like cover their face or
Yeah.
something like that. So a thing that I do to appear
I do
brave.
this. It's like, nah, I'm joking.
I was like, do you really? Does that work?
Nah.
I was like, one of the things that you can do is like, so I look at a point on the screen that's not where the horror is happening. I look at a very like, let's say, because a lot of things they like to do, they put a doorway, right? Let's say you're in an attic and they like to put a dark doorway, dead center, and something's gonna appear in that dark hole. So why don't you just stare right here and just let your eyes glaze over? Just unfocus.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just stare at a point and I just let my eyes unfocus,
Just
and then you
zone out a little bit.
you don't really see that thing.
Yeah.
Right. But there were a few moments in the movie last night where I had to keep telling myself they didn't hire a monster. They can't hire a monster. That's a human. That's a human.
Oh my god.
I was like, Tiff, that's a human.
CG
they can't hire a monster.
I might have to watch this.
It had to be a person in makeup, right?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there was like a person, like a kid looked into like this wall hole, and then something was on the other side, and I was like, "That's not real, Tiff. That's not real." But yeah, it was like I had to actively remind myself that this is a fictional tale that was
oh my god
made in a studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's funny.
And I don't have moments like that often.
See, that's me with games, but it doesn't work because the thing that I'm afraid of, I have to shoot it usually or fight it, and so I can't just like.
Well, that's a little I guess with games, it's like even with Alien, I'm like, oh, they're on a spaceship, 2,000 years in the future. I ain't gonna be there. I ain't worried about that. This was like a little kid in a bedroom. I've been there too many times. That's real. That
was half my life.
I'm in my bedroom right now with a wall right next to me. No, it's too real. But yeah, I was like, and my door's cracked.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at the situation
Maybe
this kid is in right now. Yeah, like I was like,
yeah.
So, but yeah, so I watched this movie last night called Cobweb, and surprising enough, it had a mother and father. The mother I recognized from some other horror stuff, but the father, Tiz might recognize as Homelander from The Boys.
It's always weird to see him not being Homelander, like not being a jerk, not being weird.
Well, he was definitely being weird, and he was definitely being a jerk.
Okay, so he's still Homelander.
Yeah, so he was still kind of being Homelander, but in normal clothes.
Because it's so like when I see those interviews of him when he's just being normal, like his act, like not being the actor but just being himself, I'm like, this doesn't feel right. Like I don't like you even though you're being nice right now.
Still. Yeah, he has plastic face.
Yeah,
he has like creepy doll plastic face.
Yeah, you just kind of want to hate him when you see him a little bit.
But this movie had Lizzie Kaplan and what's his name? Something Star. I forget his name. The guy who plays Homelander.
Oh yeah, I don't know his real name.
I honestly don't. I forgot. But yeah, they were the parents in this movie. They're the parents of this young boy that hears these sounds in his bedroom. And this is honestly one of these horror movies that goes places that you don't expect it to go. And I honestly enjoyed it. I didn't watch a trailer for it. I had no idea what I was watching going into it. And it was really spooky. I like movies where you're not sure if you should be afraid of the kid's parents or not. And when I said that it was actually like creeping me out, there's this one scene where the parents are... The kid is like, you're not sure if he's dreaming or not, like, because he's hearing the noises in his wall, but then he's also kind of relying on his parents to like be the force of good, and like, they're gonna run in if the sound gets out of control. And it's like, so he hears the sound, but then it's like his door like closes and his dad's standing behind the door, but then his dad's making that unnatural like clicking,
His
like
dad is?
yeah, it's like
Ew. I don't
like
like that.
that clicking sound that doesn't sound like it's coming from your mouth. It sounds like it's coming from your throat.
Yeah.
And then as soon as that happens, it's like then his mom is standing in the hallway, but she's standing with her hands stuck out like this, and then her
Nah.
eyes are like black,
I
but
don't like
they have
that.
this white glow.
Yeah.
And she moves towards him, but she doesn't walk, she just like floats.
Yeah.
And the
I don't
door
like
just
that.
like slams. It's so freaky, and I was just like,
That is weird. Yeah.
not in the dark,
That
not
is
in the
weird,
dark.
yeah.
So yeah, they had some they had some specific scenes that, and then it's like you had a very you had a very unmodern house in a very modern setting that made everything even that much creepier. So I think they made a nice little horror movie, unexpected horror movie, which I think is hard to do these days,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely. Because there's so many tropes that have been just reused into the dirt. Like, it's like, how do you even come up with something new nowadays anymore?
And considering I just watched the
New
six
Insidious.
Insidious
I knew you were
movie,
about to say Insidious.
and Michael never dies. That franchise is never
I
gonna
can't
die.
believe we're at
Texas Chainsaw
6, yeah.
Massacre is never gonna die. They're not. I don't think they're gonna make another Insidious.
I thought they were
If
going to
they
be
do-
done after 2. I'm going to be out like way back. I thought
Well,
they'd be done.
The trilogy made sense. The
Yeah.
trilogy I get, but after that, it was like
They're
now
probably
you're just
on
milking
like
the cow.
they're probably on like different characters and stuff now, I'm guessing.
Well, I was making the joke while I was watching it because when the fifth key came out, I was like, okay, now you're like James Wan is like, I'm just making money as a producer because he was like the original director and stuff. And he was like, I'm gonna make a new horror movie, and it's like he made the trilogy, and everybody was like, oh, James Wan, you're a genius, you're horror, it's great. And then it was like, okay, then the 2 extra movies came out, and it was like Annabelle and all that shit, and it was like, all right, this is extra. And then the fifth key came out, and it was like, all right, let's get the coins out, and then the Red Door came out because the fifth key was supposed to be the last movie. Then the Red Door came out, and that was Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne being like, no, this is our movie series. We're gonna make the last movie because Patrick Wilson directed the Red Door and James Wan produced it. So I was like, that's them saying like, no, we're gonna close this series out because that is two. This is 2 original kids, the original parents. They got the original grandmom, except she's passed away. They got Lynn Shay, but I think she died
Them
during
kids
the
gotta
course
be
of the
old
series.
now.
Well, yeah, Ty Simpkins is an adult.
Oh, I was about to say, them kids gotta be old.
Yeah, so I'm like, but they got the original kids.
Yeah.
They've grown up in the course of the timeline. He's in college, all that stuff. So I was like, they're just closing out the story of this family, which makes sense. Like that makes sense. This was the story of that family.
So the next movie is about to be the reboot then.
No, that's what I'm like.
That's all that tells me.
Like this has to be the end.
Things don't end anymore. Like,
yes, they
name
do.
the last thing you know of that ended. Like movie franchise.
Annabelle.
No, franchise.
Annabelle.
That's a part of the Insidious
Is it?
verse. No, I don't
No,
know.
that was a part. Annabelle was part of the Conjuring.
Yes,
Annabelle
that's
was
what
part
it
of the
was.
Conjuring.
That's
universe.
what it was. Yeah.
I
But
think the Conjuring's
never.
over.
That's coming.
Yes, it is.
It's gonna get rebooted
No,
next year.
They hated
probably.
the last one. They hated the last one.
That's why you reboot.
Patrick Wilson's gonna die soon.
Yo, things don't end anymore. It's crazy. Nothing ends.
But yeah, so I fell asleep on Insidious, so that's why I'm not going to talk about it. It was. I don't even know what to say about it. Ty Simpkins is cool, I guess.
I'm gonna watch it at some point. It's on my list.
The new one?
Yeah.
Did you watch the last one?
What was named the last one? That was the
fifth key. Yeah.
I did not
or
watch.
The last
I watched
key,
the 4th one. I think was the last one I watched.
I'm having trouble even remembering.
I don't remember the names. I know I watched the trilogy, and then I watched one after the trilogy, and that was it.
So I'm like, what was that one even about? I cannot remember.
The I don't remember.
This is the Red Door, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking of the Red Mask, but that was like, I think the Red Mask was the 3rd one. The demon with the red mask. I think that was the 3rd one.
Well, I'm gonna have to.
I don't remember. I really don't remember. Shout out to Mama, yo. That's one of my favorites. It's slept on. Everybody
Yeah,
hated
Mama
it.
is a good. But see, or I'm sorry, Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, that was him. I had no idea. I
My
really had no
man's a
idea.
my man's a genius.
Yeah, yeah. I love
Yeah,
that monster design and them kids when
yeah.
they're like
Okay,
just crawling around.
so again, I was literally going before the podcast. I was going to recommend Cobweb to you because I
Okay,
was like, I think you would like this movie. It
I'll check it out.
actually has a good story.
Mm-hmm.
I like the story. I thought it was pretty
Let
interesting.
me write it down somewhere.
I was gonna send it to you, but
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, do that.
it's a decent movie.
I'll definitely
I
check it
think
out.
I think you'd actually like the monster.
Yeah, because that's kind of
But
what I watch for now. I'm like, because I get scared. I get scared by horror games, not really horror movies. So I watch horror movies more for like, give me the coolest looking scary monster design and
mm-hmm.
like the coolest looking or the coolest like ambience, is that the right word? And like the
Ambiance, yeah,
yeah, and like the scariest vibe. Like I kind of come for that stuff. So like that's kind of what I'm looking for.
yeah. So I watched that because I can't. This it can't ever be Halloween fast enough when the summer won't end.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I dug into was Foundation season 2 because it took me forever to get to it because I don't know. I think I was afraid that it was gonna like take off into like crazy Star Wars levels of like galaxy world building.
Yeah.
But so far I don't know. So far I don't know how I feel about it. I think I'm about 3 solid episodes in. I kind of
Mm.
fell asleep and was like rewinding and like
Yeah.
trying to go
Where am
back.
I at?
So yeah, like I was watching it a little late at night, but I
Mm-hmm.
was really into what I was watching. But yeah, this show pops off. That's all I'm gonna say. Like when I tell people to watch it, I'm like, it moves. It's I can't think. What could I compare it to? This show's pacing. I'm not gonna say it's insane, but this show is generational. Like this show covers time.
Okay.
I That's the one thing I like about it. Like they're like they'll say like, "Oh, this civilization's going to enter the dark ages." And then the like 2 episodes from now they'll be like 138 years later, and then you get to see those dark ages they was talking about.
I like that though. It feels like progress. It feels like
Yeah,
they're making progress.
but I don't know if you remember but they had this is the show I was talking about where they genetically clone the leader of the empire of
Mm.
the yeah, the emperor
Mm-hmm.
has been cloned
Mm-hmm.
repeatedly
To
for
live on
thousands of
forever.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they go by dawn, dusk, and day.
Okay.
Dawn, day, and dusk
Mm.
for the better order. It's a young guy, middle-aged
Middle
guy,
age and
old
old.
dude. And yeah, that those are like your your Palpatine
Okay.
and your Darth Vader
In like
and
Dooku
your Luke
or something.
and
Or
your
yeah,
Luke
Luke.
for lack of a better comparison.
Okay.
And that's kind of one side of the story, and then you got like kind of a rebellion side of the story, which is God, I don't know the actor's name, but he goes by Harry Seldon in the
Mm-hmm.
story. And there's like a young black girl named Gail, and they are kind of like, I don't want to say the forces of good, but they use the forces of mathematics to predict. He's basically got like this equation
Mm-hmm.
that is telling him the outcome of the human destiny, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. And this equation is telling him that something really bad is going to happen if we don't course correct uh the future, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that needs to be course corrected is the cloning of the emperor.
Mm.
um
That's a bad
so
move.
yeah, that was all kind of season 1 stuff. So
Yeah.
as we move into season 2, Harry has kind of set up a scenario where he's created the foundation, which is the kind of the budding point for that. It's not really a rebellion. I'm using those terms to kind of give you familiarity because everyone's really familiar with Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
but like those are just to kind of give you the distance between these two story points. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like he's trying to build this budding force to like give the humanity some fighting chance against whatever this dark force, this, it's not really a dark force, but whatever this thing is that's going to create the dark ages for all of humanity. We don't even know what it is. It could be war, it could be
It's
an
like this
asteroid.
abstract prophecy type of thing.
It could be anything. Don't know what it is. Could just be our own downfall. But one of the interesting things that I was just bringing up, that one of the storylines that I find kind of comical right now, is that they found out at the end of season 1 that one of the clones from the emperor had been like messed with genetically, and so they were debating like, do we like kill him, do we get rid of him, do we keep him and like see what happens, like blah blah blah. So they end up killing him, right? Because they're like, we don't want to derail like what we've been working on for so long. So then we find out very early in season 2 that the whole genetic pool has been fucked with.
Oh God.
The whole genetic, all of it.
Everybody.
All of it. The source has been wrecked. It's been tampered.
Yeah.
And so it's like the Cleon, the ruling emperor, the main Cleon has asked like his most private detective for this information. And I think it's so private to the point where he's like, sir, we find out even the most sacred genetic DNA has been soiled.
Oh no.
And he's like, thank you for telling me this. And I think he like kills him right there.
Oh God.
That's how secret this shit is, right?
Jesus Christ. No loose ends.
So they do all that, and then it's like, so they find all this out, and so they really can't do anything about it at this point. So they're just letting the pool get more and more
tainted.
What's the word?
Divergent.
I can't. Yes, there's the word. It's like more and more divergent, and so at one point, maybe episode 2 or 3, we get a 138-year jump, and that all the way up, all the way through season 1, we've had dark, like brown-haired dudes.
Yeah.
And so after that 38, we start getting frosted tips.
Oh God.
I was like, yo, what is this?
And people start panicking.
Well, no, we start getting frosted tips, and you start getting dark. They start talking a little Matthew McConaughey, and I'm like, is this the personality like changes we're starting to see from the genetic tampering?
Yeah, I was like, does your how you talk come from genetics?
He's starting to be like, hey, oh, and it's like, I'm like, is this like?
I didn't know you could inherit that.
And it's just like, it's so funny because it's like, yeah, it's like his hair is the same style. Yeah. He's still dressing the same, but it's like it's like little curly flourishes, little blonde tips at the end. His mannerisms are changing just slightly a little bit. And I'm like, okay, this might. And then so now we're at the point where like they are lightly considering a marriage to have children and possibly like obliterating the clone pool and ending the they call it the genetic dynasty.
Just have actual children now that will take over. That makes sense.
So but that they might not. They also might not. They're
We're
having
on the
like
fence about it.
They're having a like visitation weekend.
Yeah.
But the best part about this weekend is that the princess that is visiting, rumor has it, is that she like killed her siblings. Whoa. To get the crown.
Oh my God.
So it's like they're inviting her. Yeah, they're like inviting her in like she's some type of like snake who's like murdered everybody. So they're like, okay, you can marry this girl who you think has killed everybody and have kids with her, or you can continue having divergent clones.
Yeah.
This is how your empire will continue on.
Illusion decision.
Into the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why we're hurtling towards the Dark Ages.
That's nuts.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. The other stuff that's going on is crazy. The crisis stuff that's going on is crazier.
Oh my God.
I'm just like, that's just the like stupid, like funny stuff that I'm telling you about that I find interesting.
Yeah.
There's much crazier things going on.
Okay.
In the show.
So there's like some subplots going on here.
Yeah, and it's grand and sprawling.
Nice.
But yeah, they're doing a really good job with that show.
They're building a universe, would you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I did for this week.
Nice. That's solid. I see we got some little surprise news story.
Uh-oh. Oh yeah, I forgot that I put in here.
Yeah,
Do you want to get to some news real quick?
yeah. Let's get in
News. Short jingle for a short news segment. All right, so I put this on here some time ago. I think I was laying in bed, so I didn't even bother to title it.
I'm kind of
So I'm
surprised
gonna
by
click
this,
on
to
it.
be honest.
It may not be true anymore. It's 2 weeks old.
I'm surprised it's
Uh,
not 4 though. Like, just regardless of how old it is, like I would just think if you asked me this question, I'd be like 4.
I honestly think this one became the most approachable one.
I believe that. Yeah, I can believe that.
But the title of this article is "The Resident Evil 2 remake is now the best-selling Resident Evil game remake ever." Oh no.
Oh, wait. Is it? Sorry, I want to clarify what you just said. Is it the
Yeah.
best-selling remake ever, Resident Evil remake ever, or the best-selling Resident Evil game? Period.
Okay, let me clarify, and I'll read here from the bottom. Their remake of Resident 2 is now the highest selling entry in the
Okay.
series.
Okay.
And it says Resident Evil 2 has now sold 12.6 million units
Woo.
across PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC, having surpassed Resident Evil 7's 12.4 million units.
I think this is probably the most popular horror game franchise ever.
It should be.
Yeah,
It should be. I think it gets the most hype. I definitely do.
For sure.
What does it say? Resident Evil's franchise now takes up 6 of the top 10 spots in Capcom's list.
Is 4 still your personal favorite? Like if you include all the remake, like 2 remake, 3 remake, all that stuff, and the old games, whatever. Just if you include all of them, would 4 still be your favorite? That's a tough question.
You're testing my love for Leon.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
I like asking the tough ones.
See, and I see the fact that you said it that way. I really like 2.
Yeah.
I really like 2.
Yeah, I believe it.
So that's why I'm like, I don't know if 4 is my favorite because I really like 2.
Since the remake, or did you like you didn't like the original 2, right?
I never played 2 the original.
Okay.
Like when I played the remake for 2, I played that like a lot.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
I never beat 4. Originally.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, my like dedicated game time is now in 2.
Okay.
The remake.
Yeah. No,
so I'm like,
sense.
I would be like prime meat for this article. Yeah. Like I would probably fit into this group.
Yeah. I would say
like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say my speed run time is in the remake.
2. Yeah. I feel
Sad.
that. I mean, honestly, it makes sense because I would say 4 remake wouldn't have happened if 2 remake didn't explode the way it
or
did.
3.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Or 3 definitely wouldn't have happened if the 2 remake didn't. So yeah, I could definitely see it. I see that for sure.
So yeah, I just wanted to give credit where I'm always gonna give Resident Evil its due.
I appreciate Resident Evil a lot. Like even though I'm not a big horror game person, so they're not my favorite games, but I definitely appreciate like their importance and how dope they are and like what they do for horror and like all that stuff.
I honestly just love this wacky garbage, and I love that it has because when you watch,
it's unique.
I watched Death Island over the weekend. I'm not gonna talk about it because I didn't pay attention well enough to like cover it for real. I'll watch it again to see that, but like I got to see Jill and Leon in a scene, and my brain was just like, I don't think I've ever seen Jill and Leon interact.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
it was weird.
I don't know how to process this. Like, it was like super cop.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen?
That's funny.
And like, I saw a scene where like I watched Leon fight with a motorcycle, like it was an extension of his body. I saw like this lady jumped off of a motorcycle. Like, no, Leon shot her motorcycle from underneath her. She jumps onto his motorcycle like front ways, makes his motorcycle brake with her foot, makes his motorcycle go like this. He like trips.
Yo.
She jumps into a car. He like falls in the road. He hops off his motorcycle, but is somehow standing
still shooting. Yeah.
in the road. Like,
This is what I
crazy.
love about
Resident Evil's
Japanese
crazy.
media, though, because when you are describing that, that's to me is like a through line through all Japanese media, like anime, Final Fantasy, Resident
Yes.
Evil. It's all like that, and I love it. Like that's what I'm here for.
I'm gonna be sending Tiz 2 movies after
Yeah,
this
yeah,
after this podcast.
yeah.
Because
No, yeah,
that
I'm here for
scene,
that.
I'm remembering that scene, and I lost my mind after that scene.
Like you describing that just reminds me of like an action scene from like Advent Children, from like the Final Fantasy movie.
Yes, it was
You know what I mean?
100% that. It was
Yeah,
100% that.
that's
Like
awesome.
that chick disrespected Leon with her feet that entire movie.
Oh my god,
Oh,
that's
okay.
hilarious. No, that's dope.
But yeah, so
Shout out.
it's just
Ari.
wacky. It's
Yeah.
wacky, and then like you, I'm sorry,
It's
you have to see the
engaging.
movie because somehow by the end it's like Chris, Leon, Claire.
Isn't Chris like way older than Leon, or no?
He might be. I'm not.
I get
sure.
the game timelines all mixed up.
I
in
have
my head.
no idea how old anybody is
Yeah,
in Resident Evil.
Yeah,
But
same.
yeah, it's like Chris, Leon, Claire are all injured in jail cells.
Okay.
Jill has someone at gunpoint, and then Rebecca is like on the way.
Running there.
And I'm like, I was like, who has all of these main characters injured?
This is the Ari Avengers, the Resident Evil Avengers.
Yeah, I was like, whoever this villain is legit because nobody gets this many MCs.
Wesker couldn't even do that?
Yeah, I was like,
crazy.
nobody has this many MC like Resident Evil MCs injured at one time.
Down bad, yeah.
And you got Jill like pressed.
That's hilarious. Where's what's her face? Who's the Asian girl?
Oh, Ada?
Yeah, where's she at?
Did Ada show up? I don't know if Ada showed up in the movie. I can't remember.
Like,
she
she's
might
the only
have,
one that's missing.
But there was a very Ada-esque character,
okay.
but she was a villain.
Yeah.
So I don't know if because that lady was there is why Ada wasn't, because that lady was all over Leon, and I was like, Ada's gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
But see, here's my thing: does Ada exist with Claire? Do they exist in the same space ever?
Like in games, or what do you mean?
Well, I know they exist in the same. They can exist in the same game, for sure.
But you're saying, do they ever cross paths?
Yes. Do they ever? When Leon in middle?
Yeah.
Doth Ada and Claire exist in same frame? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think if Ada walk in, Claire must leave.
Yeah. Or something's going down.
Or Leon will explode.
Something's going down. Yeah. That's funny. Oh man.
But yeah, I'll send you those because that you have to at least watch that first scene. It was wild.
I heard about it like when it dropped, but for whatever reason, I just didn't like. I just kind of looked. I think
all those movies fall on silent.
I was gonna say I think Ari movies kind of have like a thing in my head.
They're
where
like,
do I need to? Because that in that last Netflix show, I'm like, do I?
They're like They're like WB animated movies. They fall on deaf eyes and deaf ears.
Yeah. So
but yeah.
Dope.
Would you like to move on to some anime?
Let's do it. Keep leaving voicemails on my phone.
Oh boy. I think some major events occurred in our absence.
Yeah.
I think Tiz is good. Tiz might want to like shift frame.
No, I'm about to
He's gonna do like one of those zoom shifts where he zooms in on one corner of the frame.
I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, my camera don't really work like that. Because I
do that in post edit.
It's a little blurry right now. But y'all can probably see something that's in the frame that's not usually there.
Keen viewers
can
spot the difference.
I kind of wanted to tell you to. I think you said you watched the react, but I kind of wanted to tell you to watch the episode just to like, because the context doesn't really matter that much. But yeah,
I did. I watched a lot of. I just watched the reaction. I think which was more. I feel like it was a lot of the episode because episodes aren't that long.
Did you watch the RDC one? Because they had to do the thing where it's like super to not get copyrighted. I
was like, what do you think the level, because I was watching it with someone, I was like, what do you think the level in that transparency
opacity?
It is thin.
It's like 10% right there.
Yeah,
But I was like, I feel that.
transparent.
Definitely had to do that before.
But yeah, and reversed as hell.
Yeah, and it 100% still got copyrighted by the sound. I'm sure, 100%. Like it just didn't.
It was dead silent.
Yeah,
dead silent. No sound.
It just didn't get taken down fully. But like that was the bare minimum that they could get away with for sure. For sure.
Gotta engage with the fans.
Yeah.
All right, Tiz.
Should I start there? Do I want to start there?
Now's your time.
Where do you want to start?
This is all you.
All right, we starting there.
This is not my boat.
One Piece episode 1071 and 1072.
Oh my god.
Had the internet in freaking tizzy shambles all over the place. Everybody's comparing this character to this character. This character's transformation is more iconic than this character. People are throwing slandering each other, calling each other out their name, like throwing slurs around. Like it got intense. Yeah, it got intense. But if you don't know, if you're not aware, One Piece, Luffy.
Hold on, you gotta do one of these.
Oh, can I get the focus?
You gotta do a. There you go.
Luffy, Gear 5. Gear 5.
Look at those eyebrows.
You feel me? Now I want to start off. I'm gonna start off saying I love this form. I really do love the design of this form. I love, just in general, I love white-haired anime characters, and like I love the clouds. Like his hair kind of takes on in the actual animation. It's like, let me put this back.
It did have like a wispy.
It's like
a hot cloud.
Yeah, it's like animated like a cloud, like a flame cloud or something.
Like a hot noodle cloud.
Yeah, and like it's got it in the animation. It's got this like, I don't even know how to describe it. He's got this like almost opaque, not opaque, but like almost like how the RDC video was. It's like a pseudo transparent, just very thin layer of highlight around his design, which kind of makes him like shine and pop a little more than he like. Normally the animation's flat with all the rest of it.
Like an Ultra Instinct, glow.
In a way, like he doesn't have the aura, but it's just like like if you think about the normal animation, every character is kind of flat, like they kind of match uniformly with the rest of the animation. When he transforms in this form, he kind of pops out a little bit extra from all the other animation. Like
he's animated in a movie.
Almost, yeah, but just him. But the rest of the show is the same.
Yeah, I was gonna say like he was in the movie budget,
exactly,
and everybody else is in the anime budget.
Exactly. But it kind of works. Like it makes him it makes the form come off as like powerful and unique, which I super appreciate it. One of the things with this form, so they give the whole exposition about what the lore is behind the form, and it's kind of like you don't care if I spoil this, right? It's so far in. If you ever watch One Piece this far, you'll definitely forget.
You think I'm going to remember?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But so essentially, and this is peak writing to me. This is awesome. This is an awesome, what's the word? Recontextualization of something we thought was true for 1,000 episodes, and now it's like that was never the case. It was actually this other thing. So, devil fruits, right? They're like the power system in One Piece.
Oh, I think I remember this.
Luffy ate the gum fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's 3 types of devil fruit. There's Paramecia, Logia, and Zoan. Paramecia, you change the environment around you or some aspect of your body. Zoan, you turn into an animal or mythical creature. And Logia, your body becomes some element like smoke, fire, water, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole time, the gum fruit that Luffy ate was introduced as a Paramecia. It gave his body rubber properties, rubber characteristics. So he is a rubber man. This whole show, we thought, okay, he has rubber powers. His body's made of rubber. He just does rubber things. He stretches, whatever. But there's always been these weird little things where like he'll randomly set his arm on fire, or like he'll randomly like, I don't know. I'm having trouble thinking of different things now. But he'll do things that aren't just plain rubber. It's like rubber doesn't do that. Why is that a part of his power? And so they're explaining his Gear 5 now, and he goes through this transformation. And so it turns out this whole time he ate a mythical Zoan fruit, which it's the human fruit type Nika. And so human being, he transforms into another humanoid. So that's why he's not changing into like an animal, but
Right.
Nika is the sun god in
Right.
One Piece
Okay.
universe. So the fruit is not him getting it's not rubber powers. It's him turning into this sun god. And
Okay.
the sun god's body had rubber characteristics, but he could also do weird reality bending things like light his arm on fire. And uh, when Luffy goes into this form, one of the things with like devil fruits in this world is like when they're reach their peak or whatever, they can kind of not just affect the user's body, but whatever the user touches. So like in a previous season, there was this dude who manipulated strings, and he could touch the ground and turn the ground into strings and like make the strings do all type of crazy stuff. So now
Mhm.
Luffy, whatever he touches turns into rubber. And so he's like bouncing on the ground now, like the whatever ground his feet touch turns into rubber. Like Kaido, the dude he's fighting, shoots like a fire blast at him. He grabs the ground, pulls it up like a giant piece of rubber. The fireball hits it, bounces off. Um, and this other weird part of his power that's like not really explained, but it's explained as like the dude Nika, who the fruit is modeled after, the god Nika. His whole thing was when he fights, he's all about freedom and making people happy while he's fighting.
Mhm.
So like the way that translates to Luffy's Gear 5 is like Looney Tunes. So like they just straight up slap Looney Tune sound effects on his attacks.
Oh
And
my
he
god.
has there's like a whole extra layer of like he's just a nutcase now. Like he acts like Bugs Bunny. Like he's
Okay.
like
I saw. Yeah.
he gets the circle
You're
run. You know what I'm saying? The
everything
circle
I couldn't
legs.
hear on the
Yeah.
video is now making sense of what you're
Literally
explaining.
literal Looney Tunes noises. He gets the circle legs like Roadrunner or Bugs Bunny. Whenever he like punches Kaido, his eyes pop out like the Looney Tunes eyes pop, and that's like in the lore and effect of Luffy's power. Like whatever he touches takes on this like cartoonish effect. And I think it's really unique. Like I haven't seen a transformation like this in like a serious shonen or whatever. Um, and it's I don't know. It's just one thing about One Piece is I think I might have said this before, but One Piece has the best smiles in anime. I think like when characters smile in One Piece, like I smile, like it just makes me happy. I don't know what it is about their smiles, but and when Luffy's in this form, like you can see with the thing, he's constantly smiling. Like he's and Kaido's getting mad, the dude he's fighting, because he's kind of a tryhard. Like he's like a grump, and so he's
Mhm.
like, "Yo, take the fight seriously. Like stop joking around." Meanwhile, he's just getting like slapped around. Like he grabs him, he's like jump roping with him. Um, so it's like very out there. And one of the explanations about the power is like in the world they call it the most ridiculous power, and
Mhm.
I think they do a really good job like portraying that with the animation. But to the actual episodes themselves, 1071, the first episode where it's revealed, they do some stuff that I don't like. So it's typical of One Piece, but you actually mentioned it too. They do some cutaways, like it's cutaways, it's direct reused scenes from the same episode, and then it's the whole like the whole One Piece thing of how like the intro takes up like 5 minutes, the little commercial thing like slot in the middle takes up like 30 seconds, and then the
Yeah.
end is like takes up like another 2 minutes, so you only have like 15 minutes of episode.
Right.
And they make it even worse with this reveal because so he takes a page out of Goku's book, he takes like 5 minutes just to transform. They reuse the same piece of animation like 3 times within the same five, like copy and paste the exact same frames, like back to back. They just copy and paste it, which is kind of annoying. And then once he transforms, he starts getting into the fight, and then they just cut away to a whole different character storyline, completely unrelated to this fight, just for like 10 minutes of the
Kids.
episode.
This is for children.
It's funny you say that because guess what they did in this cutaway?
What?
This dude who's been like abusing this little girl, who basically, long story short, she was like the old king who got boiled alive by this new king. It was his daughter. And so she comes back from the future as an adult, and the evil guy doesn't know that that's who that is. And long
Oh,
story
that's who that
short,
girl was.
he's trapped under a pile of rubber. She's got like a pile of rubble. She's got like this nail in his leg that like locks his powers down, so he can't move. He's trapped under this rubble. And then this little fire sprite that works for him comes up and he's like in pain. He's like, save me, save me. And then he's like, back up, you idiot. You're made out of fire. And then he inches closer and the dude just burns to death. Yeah, it just burns to death right there. And he's like screaming. He's like, save me. Don't let me die like this. And she's just like, nope, this is what you get. Sorry. Wow. And so, yeah, that part was really dark. And it was interesting, but it just shouldn't have been 10 minutes dead in the center of the Gear 5 fight. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So that first episode, very little of the actual fight happens. It's mostly just reused transformation scenes. And one other negative, like, I think the animation was pretty good overall, but there was points where it got super, super messy, where it's like, there's a point where it's like a whole bunch of stuff going on. There's like the Looney Tunes effects going on, and your eyes actually get lost because it's just like an overwhelming amount of animation just for animation's sake, where I feel like if they did it a little bit cleaner and like had a little less noise, it would have just hit a lot harder. And that is a good transition to 1072, which is this episode is actually all fight. There's no cutaways really in this episode. And this episode is actually animated cleaner, which I don't know. I read something like they brought in different animators just for these episodes. So I'm thinking maybe different people worked on the 2 different episodes.
I'll say
at least
like
some
they
combination.
used to do for Naruto.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so this episode was animated super well. There was less reused stuff, which I was happy to see, and there was more of the fight. I think there's actually still the end of the fight is probably going to be next episode or even an episode after that, because One Piece likes to drag fights out. But one other thing I noticed is One Piece is Toei, just like Dragon Ball. They literally copy paste the Dragon Ball lightning sound effect and the Super Saiyan sound effect and the yellow. Like, there's a point where Luffy powers down. Literally the exact same sound. And the like the lightning from Super Saiyan 2 and all that. Yeah. There's a point where Luffy powers down because he's running out of stamina, and they have he does the whole like pep talk, like, I'm not gonna give up now, whatever. He powers back up, and I kid you not, the literal yellow Super Saiyan aura goes around him. And then he transforms, and then he's back to his normal white form. And I'm like,
this is our effect.
Like, why'd y'all just
own this effect?
I like it. Y'all couldn't have took 2 seconds to just make a new aura. Like, why'd y'all take that straight? And the sound effect was on it too. Like,
bro, you know they have like the overlay for it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they just slide that bitch on.
They had that little whoosh, 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 whoosh. Like that exact. It was brought back all the Super Saiyan memories.
If I could get a white noise machine of that the Super Saiyan sound, just put me to sleep every night.
Whoosh, 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 whoosh. And I'm like, okay, y'all.
If I could get it would have that sound. It would have the power level monitor sound. And then it would probably have like the Dragon Ball locator beep noise.
Beep. Wait, how does that one go?
It was like,
yeah.
When they located the Dragon Ball, it would just be that sound.
I'm like, I hear that one a lot now because I'm watching Dragon Ball too, which is funny.
And maybe like the sound of like the capsule ship. It's like,
oh yeah, that's a like good one. The little hover purr of the yeah. That's a good one too.
Can I get all right, y'all, Toei? Where's my Dragon Ball white noise machine? Free ideas.
Before we just steal them all and put them on the soundboard.
Free ideas. No, that's clunky though. Like, that's not a nice little portable machine that I can just set next to my bed.
Hold on, but it has to look. Imagine if this is Goku and it has a button on it.
Yes.
And it's just that's what it has to be.
It's Goku holding a spirit bomb.
Yeah, and the button just cycles through the sounds.
And the spirit bomb is the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nah, that's all. That would be awesome.
Free money.
Don't let me get a 3D printer. That's all I'm saying. I'll have that made with a Raspberry Pi so quick. I'm so serious. It'll be like a box with the internals in it, and then a statue will be on the top, and I'll put the speaker in the joint. I swear I'll make that.
You better not make that before we make our Vampire Survivors arcade.
Oh yeah, true. I gotta see which one is lower budget. That's the one I'm probably making first.
That was the first project.
Yeah. But see, that one I gotta saw stuff. I gotta like
No, I was
work with
gonna build
wood.
the box.
Oh,
Remember?
okay, yeah, that's
You
right.
just
That's
were
right.
supposed to deal with the monitor
I
and
got that part.
the game part.
I got that part.
I'll build the box.
Yeah, we good. We coming together.
Oh
on
my
that
god. Okay.
one.
But yeah, Gear 5,
But yeah, what else? What else about Gear 5?
episode 2.
So yeah, episode 2 I liked a little bit more than the first episode where they revealed it. There's a little bit more that hasn't happened yet, just that I know about. So that's why I think they're gonna keep going with it for a couple more episodes, maybe just one more. I don't know, but like I said, they tend to drag stuff out. But overall, I think solid. And I'm about to enrage a lot of people though with this. 100% without a doubt, and never will be as iconic as Super Saiyan. Never.
Well,
Nothing
I don't know if
ever will touch Super Saiyan.
not when you take this long, for one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think time will be against, for one. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it'll be a long time before something comes across Super Saiyan.
It's hard.
Sorry, but your statement just made me think of a question. Is Boruto an alien? Question mark.
No, he's possessed by an alien.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Boruto. Yeah, he's a little bit. He's DNA possessed by an alien.
By an alien. Well, yeah. Okay.
It's DNA possession.
How is that any different? Do you mean like because he has the DNA of, like, because of his DNA, he's able to be possessed by an alien?
No. So he fought an alien in like the second arc of Boruto. Okay. When that alien died, he implanted his own DNA inside of Boruto, which is now slowly overriding Boruto's DNA.
Okay.
And you know how Naruto like channeled the Nine-Tailed Fox?
Yes.
This is that dynamic for Boruto. So Boruto can channel the alien powers to then, go into demon mode or whatever.
Okay.
You know they gotta have the trope.
Yeah.
I think I told you before, Boruto is explicitly trying to mirror every single point of anything in Naruto. Like they're trying to mirror every single thing in Naruto.
I think I told you my anger at Boruto for his anger at his father.
Yeah.
Overrides.
Yeah, I remember that.
Everything. Because
everything about Boruto.
I forget about the plot because I'm like, Boruto, your dad. He didn't have a dad. Stop.
Yeah. That's true.
Like, you don't get to be mad at him.
Speaking of, I don't know if you saw any of this, but like they released the art for time because the time skip's about to happen now. We're about to get into Boruto Shippuden. And I don't know if they're gonna call it that.
Boruto Shippuden.
But they dropped his art for his design, and everybody's just like, "Yo, he's dripped out. Yo, he's the most swagged out character."
I saw Sarada and I saw Boruto.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn,
his
like
shirt's
what is happening?
Unbuttoned. He's got like tattoos coming up from the inside.
Yeah, he looks crazy.
He's got like rings on. He's like real bad boy energy.
I'm like, how do you go from being this shit kid to like this?
Because he's Sasuke's mentee.
Oh no!
Oh, you didn't know that?
No!
So because of his hate for Naruto, he actually looks up to Sasuke. Like, he thinks Sasuke is the cool one. He's like, I want to be like Sasuke.
I thought we were going to get back on track.
No.
Before the time skip.
He's Sasuke's follower. He's following in Sasuke's path. That's like his
So we're going to have like a one-armed Boruto by the end of the series?
I hope not.
Because that's what happens when you follow Sasuke. You lose your arm, son.
You lose. Well, he did lose something.
Uh-oh. What did he lose? Boruto already lost an eye?
He's blind in one eye after the time skip. Unfortunately. He's rocking the Zoro and the Kakashi.
Does he get like a Byakugan power or something to make up for it?
But only, so he's blind, but when he activates his eye, he can see through it.
Of course.
So he's not really blind.
Was it like all sick and sad when he lost it? Was it like all meaningful and like super, or was it just like quick, like I'm Kakashi now?
It was kind of quick, yeah. It was because they were like at war, so like he could have lost a lot more. You know?
Okay,
what I mean?
I have a really dumb question.
Yeah.
So I got something splashed across my face right here.
Mm-hmm.
And is it bad that I used Naruto's sensei Iruka to describe how I got something splashed across my face? Is
Oh
that
my
like a
god.
bit of a stretch
Nah,
to
I
say I
don't think
got
so.
Aruka Sensei?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
that's iconic for Aruka, right? Like
Okay.
that's the first name I thought of when you said I got something
Okay.
splashed
All
across
right.
my face. Like I
Because
was like, where's this
I was like,
going?
Naruto's mentor, right? And they're like, yeah. I was like,
Naruto's mentor. You know
they were
Naruto's
no.
mentor,
First
right?
they were like this one. I was like, no,
Kakashi.
this one.
Yeah, this one. Which scar? Just identify them based on the scars.
Hmm.
That's hilarious.
All right.
Oh man. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps the Gear 5. Like overall, I love the
Sorry for
transformation.
sidetracking that.
No, I love the transformation.
I did too.
Some minor issues with the presentation of it, but I think it was probably as good as it could be. One other thing though I want to say is I was expecting this fight to be the best fight in One Piece, but I think the Zoro King fight is still the best.
How long ago was that?
Probably like 10 episodes. Nothing too crazy.
Oh, not too bad.
Nothing too crazy. It's baffling though. We've been in this Luffy Kaido fight for literally a year and a half in real time. A year and a half worth of week to week episodes. We've been in this.
Not the
fight.
samurai arc.
The samurai arc itself has been about 8 years that we've been in it. 5 years, something like that. But this
I was
one
like,
fight,
I know I was still in my house when we were in the samurai.
it's the
arc.
longest arc, like by far. Like this arc has like 200 something, 300 episodes maybe. Every other arc maybe has 100 at most. So it's like by far the longest. But it's also the best arc. Like best animation, best writing, best characters, all that
Well,
stuff.
it's the newest. I would hope so.
It's got all the budget. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's One Piece.
Crazy.
We gonna get to the end one day when I'm 85. I'll be happy to report on that.
Well, Luffy's still kicking it, you guys.
God, it's crazy.
All right. Well, thank you for that One Piece report, Tiz.
Yeah.
We're always happy to hear about it.
You won't get another long breakdown like that for like another like 2 years when something else crazy happens. I'm serious.
We won't get another breakdown till it's over. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Let's very quickly go over Jobless. It probably Jutsu because there's not.
I think we
There's
talked
not too
about the
much
last
on
part of Juju, didn't we?
Already?
The last part that came
No.
out?
No. We didn't
Really?
talk about Suguru. We didn't talk about what's happening with Suguru.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
I was like, we definitely haven't talked about that.
For some reason, I was thinking it ended on that Gojo trying to kill everybody scene. But I forgot about. I remember the Suguru
Yeah, we did
episode.
talk about that.
I remember the
trying.
Suguru episode.
You say trying like they were holding him back. He was just like, do you
He
want
was
me to
ready,
do
yo.
it?
That man was high off of power.
But
He had
no,
crack
so
eyes.
let's talk Jobless because we were at different points in Jobless and now we're at the same point. So now we
Yeah.
can cohesively talk about it. I just like talking about it because Jobless is the realest isekai out there. I used to think Sword Hero was the realest
real
isekai.
quick.
Sword Hero.
Shield Hero.
Shield Hero.
Real
sorry.
quick, because you brought that up. Did you see the tagline for Shield Hero Season 3?
No.
It's like getting back to the adventure or something like that. It literally says like, or no, it's the real rising begins. I'm like, oh, we're here now. And now you want to do main plot.
Oh.
So I'm like, okay, they recognize and understand that last season was filler.
Sorry, we had to have a side quest so that we could get Ravtalia a katana.
Yeah.
All right. We're back.
Back to what you guys care about.
But
I just thought it was funny.
Yeah,
Realist isekai.
Jobless. Broody. Pulling on our heartstrings over here. So I'm out here in the streets, in the anime streets, specifically in dating apps, getting the realest opinions.
I was not expecting you to say that at all.
Because that's where people least expect you to be interviewing them for their anime
opinions. That's hilarious.
So, last week we kind of broached the topic of like what's going on with Rudy. Because I was trying to break Tiz into like the crux of what's going on with Rudy.
Yeah.
Because I broke into the manga a little bit, and like honestly, the ED is spurring his adventure right now.
I hate
that's
it,
the
by the
only
way.
thing that's pushing him on forward.
I hate it, by the way.
Because Your boy was about to kill himself.
He was.
He was about to
That
take his
part
own
was
life.
so. That might be the most intense like suicide scene I've ever seen. Like or like depression scene, whatever you would call it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
never.
had one. I went like this
I was
in
like,
real life.
No, same. I was like, oh my god, yo, he was not playing.
When he was so depressed. Okay, let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
So we were previously talking about him in the second season. He meets up with this party. And it's kind of like a refresher, right? Because he lost his old party with Eris and the dragon. I always forget that dude's name.
Ruger.
Yes. So he loses his old party. He kind of gets talked into this new party by this lady, and he thinks they're taking pity on him, right? And like they kind of grow into each other because they see that Rudy has a little potential.
Yeah.
And they find out that he's looking for his family, and
he saves all of their lives on an adventure.
Yeah, and they coach him. They coach him up. They're like, come on, you're an adventurer. Like, come adventure with us. Like, you can actually help us. And then there's this one chick, Sarah, who's like kind of being a beach.
She's the gatekeeper. Yeah, she's like the group gatekeeper.
Yeah, and she's just like, we don't need you or whatever, but I guess you can come. Yeah. Don't slow us down, even though you're better than all of us.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
So she's being all like that until Rudy saves her life, right? And so he saves her life, and then she kind of switches, and she's like, she starts
opens up.
Yeah, she starts being nicer, and they're hanging out, and then they have a moment where she's like, she kind of like wants to pay him back, but it's that awkwardness of like, I'm gonna pay you back with my body.
But no,
nobody asked me to.
But
like,
no,
kind of thing.
She actually loves him. She was actually
she
falling
does,
in love
but
with him.
It's a little quick. It is
quick. No, it is quick.
Yeah.
Well, was it quick or were they skipping time? Because they were going on a lot of adventures and stuff.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think she sat up at that bar and drank them beers a little fast.
Yeah,
you know, like she was like sidling up to him, and she was like, "Oh, I'm a little drunk."
But that was the real.
How about we go up to your room?
Yeah,
because even Rudy was like, what is she doing right now? Like is she doing this right now?
Yeah.
Like, even he was like, really?
I love those moments, by the way, when he has those like internal dialogues of like, I haven't been in this situation in my previous life, but like, is this happening right now? Like,
so, and then he's like, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
So then it's like that moment happens, and then he decides to go for it, and that's when he realizes like, oh, my system is not functioning.
Sucks.
And he's like, crap. So then he gets mad about it, right? Yeah. And then that's when he starts thinking this is Eris's fault because she left me, and like there's something wrong with me now. And so he meets the blonde-haired dude. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But then, and that's when they kind of have their interaction, and they kind of become friends, and the blonde-haired guy feels bad for him at first, but then he's like, I'll help you, or whatever. And so the moment that we're kind of talking about with the suicide is that the blonde guy spends this night with Rudy, like, he's like, I'll take you to a brothel, bro. Yeah. Like, we'll figure this out. We're gonna we'll make your junk work tonight. Yeah. And then it doesn't work, and then Rudy does what I think is like a normal human, I won't even say guy thing, I think it's a normal human thing to do, which is like he spins it around and he goes, he's like, forget her. Yeah. Forget Sarah. It's not my fault. It's her fault.
Normally you don't yell it in the open streets.
Right, but he's drunk.
Yeah.
He's drunk, right? And he's at the end of his rope. Yeah. So he's like, forget her for walking out. But he's not wrong,
She's
right?
She's not that hot anyway.
I do, like, as a female, I do think she was wrong to be like, oh, your junk doesn't work?
Yeah.
Forget you.
It's
I'm
my
out.
fault, yeah.
Like,
I try and take like age into consideration in a lot of these, even though I don't want to, because it makes it weird. Yeah. But it's like they both probably haven't had these types of experiences yet, and so it's like they're gonna jump to the most what's the word I'm looking for? The most extreme conclusion, like outrageous, like that's obviously not the case. Yeah. Type of thing.
So, but yeah, it's like she walks out on him, he offends him, and she acts offended. So yeah, he just goes, forget her. Like, she shouldn't have done that to me. Like, I can get better than her. Like, something to that effect. And she's standing right behind him when he says this.
Of course.
Right.
And then, the other dude too, his face, he's like, no.
And Rudy is just eyes closed, screaming this to the sky.
And the other dude's just like,
and Rudy doesn't really mean it. right? So he's
Of
just saying
course.
it to make himself feel better. And as soon as he realizes Sarah's behind him, Sarah's like, "You piece of shit, never speak to me again. I'm out." And she leaves. And then Rudy just drops to his knees, pulls a knife out, and like
Yeah.
blonde
No,
hair
not
dude
even pulls
just
it. It was on the ground.
oh,
Because
I thought he like pulled it
somebody
out.
dropped it. He drops to his knees. He looks down, and then he just, and then it happens so fast, which is why I think it was executed so well. But the
The
dude has
blonde
to
dude just
block
like
it.
slaps it out of his hand. Just like,
I'm like, oh my god, Rudy
don't.
almost
He's like,
died.
don't even dare. And he's like,
Like the
dude, just
force
come.
behind the
Yeah,
force was there.
He was ready.
The force was
ready.
there. He wasn't stopping. That wasn't no fake it for attention.
He was ready.
It was intense, yeah.
So like that moment happens.
That was intense.
And then blonde dude. Luckily, they don't dwell on it at all. And blonde dude is like, let's
just leave.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's
get your mind
forget
off of
about her and this situation. Don't
Mhm.
worry about it. It happens. Not to everybody. You're an idiot, but
He's
it's
a good
okay.
dude. He's a real good dude.
Yeah,
like him.
that's why I'm like, when he called Rudy out on his fake smile BS, I think that was for the best.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I liked him for knowing that because I do think Rudy was lying to himself a little bit.
100%. Yeah.
That's okay. Everybody does that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, moments like this are what makes me watch Mushoku and be like, oh no, this is gonna hurt this episode. So this is kind of where we get moving again a little bit, because Rudy was kind of stalling here in his story, trying to figure out where he should go, what he should do, and after this part is where we kind of get impetus for him to get moving again because he meets he kind of like meets a member of Paul's party.
Yeah, she comes looking for him.
Yeah, she gives him a reason to go somewhere else. So this is where we get the letter from the magical school.
So, and it's so funny because we talked about this at the beginning of the season. You were like, he forgot about Sylphie, and it's funny because he acknowledged that he forgot about. He's like, oh yeah, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Like it's, I
Do you
love
know
that
how
he
much
acknowledged
validation I got from that?
I love that he acknowledged that. That was amazing.
I was like, okay, show, you got me.
Yeah,
I was like,
because it makes sense for him to forget. Because like so much, like watching the show, it feels like less time has passed than has, but so much has happened. Probably
he did get teleported.
Yeah,
like to the middle of nowhere, and then had to find his way back to somewhere.
He got involved in like a whole demon races, a whole demon dude's subplot to bring his race back to good graces. He got caught up with Eris and the animal girl, and he got like, so he's like had all these different side issues just like placed upon him.
Yeah,
and it's like I get how he could forget, but I was just glad that he was like, oh, that's right, I was supposed to be Sylphie. I hope she's doing good.
But yeah, cool. I was like done on that one because
it was insane.
I was like, if you forget the whole reason you started this adventure in the first, I'm gonna lose it.
But it lines up now because he talked to the man god again, and he was like, all right, go to the school, it'll fix your ED. And then when he brought up Sylphie, I'm like, oh, is that how it's gonna he's gonna fall back in love with her again or something like that? Like
maybe
I could see something like that happening. Return
the slab. No, I'm just kidding. Return to the one,
the original,
who loved you first.
Main Bay. That was Main Bay.
Bay number 1.
Yeah, the one that's not your cousin.
But yeah, I think we're gonna have some things to look forward to.
Hold on, but I have to say though, this show could absolutely, and I will stand firm on this, absolutely positively do without all the weird stuff. There's no reason he needs to be praying to panties. There's no reason for any of this nonsense. There's no reason for the ED at all.
What makes Rudy Rudy?
What makes Rudy Rudy?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I love that one dude worships Rudy because he can carve those figures.
I'm trying to remember.
Do you remember that guy?
I remember the figures, but I forget.
He's gonna come back pretty soon.
Okay.
That's not really a spoiler.
Yeah.
But there's a guy who was like, a slave guy.
And Rudy was making figures for
But Rudy
I
gets
remember.
imprisoned by that guy, but then the guy finds out that Rudy can make figures.
Yeah.
And Rudy ends up giving him a figure of Roxy.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then he's
Yeah.
like, "Will you teach me, master?"
And he's like, of course. I remember that now. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, I like the weird, quirky, weird
Weird
questionable
is
things about Rudy.
weird is fine. I just don't know why it has to be like children and
He's a creepy
sexuality
boy.
and
It's
odd.
not the person whose panties he's worshiping is older than him.
But he's like 14. He's like 12 or something. Like, why we got to do
boy.
this? But
He's
why
a
we got to
boy.
do this? Let me ask you this.
Are you not a child of the 90s?
But I am.
Do you not remember the 90s?
No, I was a child in the 90s. I don't remember.
Do you not remember like SpongeBob? Do you not remember panty raids?
Yeah, but SpongeBob's a sponge, and Mr. Krabs an adult.
He was a young sponge.
He has a full 9 to 5 with benefits. SpongeBob is a grown man. Yo.
Did SpongeBob have healthcare?
I don't know. I'm just assuming. Knowing Mr. Krabs, he probably didn't have healthcare. He was on that Obamacare. Knowing Mr. Krabs. But nah, let me ask you this though, seriously. What does it add to the show for you? If you could remove it out of the show, would it be less?
Rudy's personality.
But if it wasn't, would it be less of a show to you?
It wouldn't be less of a show, but it would take away from what makes him him to me. It's the same way about Deku crying. Would it make a less of a My Hero if Deku cried less? No. But Deku's crying counterbalances Baku's anger.
That's
true.
What
I mean? Like,
that's
it's a part. It's one of their character idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
That's all.
I get it. I get
that it makes you uncomfortable, but think about it this way: it's the same way if like one thing about a person in your life makes you uncomfortable, and you go, ugh. It's the same way like about our brother, where I'm just like, he's always gonna show me a YouTube video, and I'm like, please stop showing me YouTube video.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean there, but it's different because I'm never gonna be ashamed to tell anyone that Shay is my brother. I'm ashamed to have someone walk in on me watching Mashoko Tensei.
But see, I'm not. You know so that's why I'm just like.
But you know it's questionable.
Like, this would it be?
But you know it's questionable.
Wait, I'm gonna be like, hold up, can you see that, right? It's right there when people walk in.
It is.
All right.
It is. It is. I get it. I guess.
You're like, I'm like, that's Rudy. Like, if I'm ashamed of Rudy, I'm not gonna watch the show.
But that's the thing. That's why I'm so conflicted about it, because I love Rudy. At his core, he's a good person.
Yeah.
He wants to help everyone.
He just has a kink.
It's not even. It's okay. I'm glad you said that, because it's not even the fact that he has a kink. It's the fact that
he's so proud of it.
No, it's the fact that as directors, you have to spend so much screen time focusing on these weird things.
Well,
like, just let him have a kink off screen.
Let me ask you this: do you think that has more to do with the fact that we live so much, like as an audience, we live so much in his personal life? Like, we live in his mind. We're not just watching him from the outside. Like, we're in his mind.
That's a good point. That is a good point. I don't know.
That's just a question.
No, it's fair. It's a fair and valid point.
Because I'm we're in, like, we even see him when he talks to the white dude, like the master dude,
the god dude, yeah, man god.
So, and we see his gross like previous form.
Yeah, I think there's a million different ways you could justify it, or the writers could justify it, or whatever. But the only thing I'm trying to say is, in my mind, it's the same thing with No Game No Life. It could have not had all the weird brother and sister romance stuff, and
now you want to talk about
great show still. It didn't need it whatsoever. It didn't add to the experience whatsoever.
They could have had a rivalry.
Yes.
Instead of a creepy.
It was no purpose to it. You know what I'm saying? Even if he was the type of person to like his sibling, they could have left it off screen and it would have been perfectly fine.
But see, I'm like, some people find that funny.
Yeah, but
instead of gross.
There's such a minority that I don't care what they think. They don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They're 1% of the population.
Tweet at @SRClash_pod if you disagree with Ty about being in a minority.
Please do. Because I know I'm in the minority on some things, but it's fine. I don't hate the people that like it. It's just y'all are weird. Not you, but I'm saying the people who are like, yeah, Rudy's panties.
Appreciate that part.
Those people are weird. Panties. Yeah, like panties on screen.
I know. I recently saw a scene of the panties burst out of a closet, and I died laughing.
In that same show. Yeah. Or a different show? Oh, the same show?
No, Mushoku. And I was just like, I died laughing because I was just like, why? Why did the panties have to appear at the most insane?
Why? That's the question.
But I will give you. There's another moment. There's another moment that feels insanely inappropriate.
Which one? Remind me.
I don't know if it happens in the show. I don't think it happened in the show yet. I don't know if it's going to happen in the show.
Oh, you want me to be shocked and come back and rant about it?
Yes.
Okay.
And so we'll talk about it when it happens. And then we'll probably both come to the same consensus of why that happened.
Okay. Eyes are open.
What age do you think he is right now?
After the time skip?
16?
After the time skip? Yeah, I would guess 16. I haven't heard or seen any confirmation, but just looking at him and like compiling my anime knowledge, my brain just calculates 16. Okay. He could be like 12 for all I know. I don't know. He could be 18. He's not 12. I don't know.
He's definitely like...
I'm waiting for his voice to...
I want to say he was 12 or... I want to say he was 10 when he got that staff.
Yeah.
And he was running around on the adventure. And I want to say he was 12 when he had that ponytail at first.
It's weird because... And I know you're watching the sub, but in the dub, his voice never changes from the time he's a baby to now. It hasn't changed yet. Like it's still the same exact voice. So I can't. It's hard for me to gauge.
I think it just now changed in the show.
Okay.
It just got a little deeper.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to sound like Paul. To be honest.
Yo, there was a character because I was reading the manga and there was no color.
Mm-hmm.
There was a character that popped up in a character. A character I didn't recognize was telling a flashback story. And the character in that flashback story came up one we know, and I didn't recognize them because it wasn't in color.
That's kind of funny.
I'm like looking, and then they like mentioned someone we know, and I'm like, wait. And I had to like go back, and I'm like, wait.
I'm guessing
I know this person.
I'm guessing it's Rouge because he's green.
No. Okay. No. But I just didn't.
Blue,
I was like. It was from way back in season 1, but I was just like, I didn't recognize them because they didn't mention their name. You just see them.
Okay. I probably won't recognize them at all. And then even in the anime.
We will in the show because we'll see their color.
And they're colors, they're like distinct. You're saying they're like unique.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like they're grown and you don't recognize their clothing because it's changed. Type of thing.
Okay.
So. Let's finish up with Juju before I pass out because I haven't eaten today.
I'm gonna just say for Juju, can we skip a little bit and just like just for the sake of time, just what's his name? Ghetto, his transformation.
I only wanted to talk about Toto's mentor and her ideals about curses, and then
yeah. Let's do it.
So all I wanted to talk about is the beginning at Juju. We meet Toto's mentor.
Blonde hair girl?
Yes.
Just so I have okay.
So she's kind of like an infamous exorcist. Juju. What do we call her? Juju. I'm getting so mixed up with all these.
Sorcerers.
Yes.
Yeah, sorcerers.
Thank you. So we meet she's like an infamous Juju sorcerer.
She's one of the 4 S rank or special grade sorcerers.
Yes,
there's only 4 of them.
And they said she doesn't take missions.
Yeah,
and I can't remember why.
She doesn't agree with Jujutsu High's principles, so she wants to change the world in her own way.
Yes. Okay. And one of her biggest beliefs and things is like she wants to like rid the source of curses versus fighting the symptoms type of thing. She doesn't want to take each curse head on. She wants to just end it all for good. And this episode kind of takes on the tone of like Suguru. It's like 1 year later from the episode previous. Takes on the tone of Suguru dealing with like the aftermath of all the cult stuff and the body transition for what's his name, Tenzin. Um,
Yeah.
so so Suguru is processing things in the shower with his butt out. And then he has that conversation with blonde haired sorceress lady, and she kind of sets him on a path for like some dark thinking. And I didn't think it would
I
be
don't
that
even think
easy.
intentionally. I don't think she was. I think she was just like, make the choice you feel best with, but just know you can't take the choice back. Like, that's what I got from her. But he just took it and went left.
I didn't think it would be this easy for him to switch.
You know why? I don't want to use the word easy, and the reason why is because when we very first get introduced to him, the first thing that they highlight is how horrible it is, his power of how his power manifests and how he has to literally eat the curse and taste them and feel their negativity just slowly course through his body. So it's like the fact that they highlighted that, I'm just thinking like, okay, so not only just then, but literally probably from when he was a child and his powers manifested, he's been dealing with these just constant intake of negative emotions and curses. And he's like, the whole time he's like, yo, nobody knows what this is like but me. Nobody knows how disgusting and horrible it is and how it tastes like poop and pee to eat these. Like, I think he said that. He was like, it tastes like poop and pee that somebody like mixed together and then like put inside of a dead body. He said something crazy like that. And he was like, that's literally what it tastes like every single time I do this. And I've been doing this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. So just that, I'm like, okay, so he's been on the edge probably for a long time.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of don't think it's as easy. Whereas his whole life, he's just been prone to darkness, I feel like, just because of his power.
I can get the strain of long term being on the edge.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand too, by simple comparison, devil's advocate,
you
got Satoru, who didn't really care to begin with. You know, as you said, was ready to kill people. Cultists, cultists, all the same, but still people, still regular people.
Innocent. They never murdered anybody or anything like that.
Yeah. Still ready to kill people, but on top of that, for like to simplify things, basically got murdered last episode. He's not ready to kill everybody.
No, I agree.
So I'm like, by comparison, I'm like he hasn't switched sides yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm like,
I think Gojo.
I still think that's a quick switch.
The reason I think Gojo is different is, even though that him and Geto are 1 and 2, Gojo's still like this, right? Gojo's powers, I think, and he understands this himself. His powers, I think, elevate him to a level that's, I would even say, above good and evil, right? Like, I think Gojo's more about
ultimate chaos.
I wouldn't even say, I would say, I think Gojo's more about like protecting what he cares about and his ideals and his freedom and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gojo reminds me of Goku, whereas Goku's not good. He's not Superman. Like, Goku is very selfish. Goku cares about himself and his friends and his loved ones. He's not like, oh, I just want to save the day just because I can, just because it's good. Goku's like, no, you hurt my friends, I'm gonna kill you. But
no, he would. I don't think Goku would let the Earth blow up though if all his friends were dead.
I don't think he would, but I don't think he's like, he's not he's not Deku, is what I'm trying to say.
Because when he does the spirit bomb and he's like creatures of the earth, lend me your power.
Yeah.
Like, he's not telling them like, I'll strike you down to take your energy.
That's what I'm saying though. He's not good. He's not evil. He's just a guy that's extremely strong. He wants what he wants and he likes what he likes, and he's gonna live to protect those things. And they just happen to be not evil, You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not
I
Deku.
think so.
Deku's
I
like,
think
good,
no. I
save
think
everybody.
Goku is like Deku, except Goku will first put you in danger and then save you. Goku will put you in danger knowing he can save you.
That's
Deku
true.
won't try to put you in danger
That's
first,
definitely
but
true.
he
Yeah,
will save you.
that's definitely true.
Goku's like, I'll fight because I know I can.
Yeah. I don't think Gojo is that
Sorry.
part though.
No. I think Gojo is like a little bit like whatever's gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know what
whereas,
the second part of that statement.
Whereas Geto, on the other hand, like Gojo's not thinking about all this existential, like he's he's so powerful he doesn't care about anything. Like he's happy-go-lucky. You know what I'm saying?
I find that a little more accurate.
Whereas Geto is like, he's not quite God level yet. He has to do all these unpleasant things for his powers to work. He sees the world from this different view because of that.
Now, to better clarify your statement.
Yeah.
Can you? I'll say it might help if you can decipher, because I could not understand what Geto was trying to say and to Satoru about, like, oh, Satoru, if I was as strong as you, then if I was as strong as you, then what I'm saying would be true.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. Like, Satoru is saying, like, bro, you're not you right now.
Yeah.
You're not being you.
Yeah.
And Geto is saying, so if I were you, if I was as strong as you, then I'd be okay? And it's like, no, that's not what you're saying at all. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I could be remembering wrong, but here's what I got from that. So Geto's whole thing was like, he still wants to save the world. So he has good intentions.
Right.
But he's doing things in a very evil, dark way. So he's like, I'm taking my own, kind of like, who was like this in Naruto? I think Sasuke was like this for a little bit.
Yeah, my path.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm taking my own path to do this thing my way. And I think Gojo's like, no, don't, I'm going to butcher it a little bit. But Gojo's
I think I understand now.
Gojo's like, nah, that's wrong. And Geto's basically like, okay.
Is it only wrong because it's not your way?
Yeah, and is it only wrong because you're so powerful you can literally make any reality possible?
Yes.
But the rest of us have to we don't all have that luxury.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
Flip the roles, put me in your shoes. Would I be wrong then? Type of. I'm kind of butchering it, but you get what I'm going.
No. That made more sense.
Yeah.
That clarified. Yeah. Okay.
Because that was definitely the classic, like Naruto and Sasuke, where Sasuke was like, I'm gonna be the Hokage now, even though it was never my dream before.
Even though it was, I'm gonna steal your dream now.
Yeah. It felt a lot like that to me. It was funny, but yeah, I think it was really well executed though, like as a flashback overall, like in explaining some of this stuff.
Yeah, I liked. Oh my god, yeah, because I showed just that clip of Satoru getting stabbed.
Oh my god.
Because we watched. Okay,
Visceral.
You ready for this? We watched Detective Pikachu, and there was that scene of the guy in the Mewtwo body like holding Pikachu in the middle of the sky and like not ending it.
Yeah.
And my friend is yelling, "Just end it!" And I'm like, "That's a little heavy in the Pikachu, like for Pikachu, like."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Do you want to see someone just end it?"
Show him a real job finisher. That's a finisher right there.
Yeah. So I'm like, when I showed them that, I was like, oh, but it's not as impactful because we know this character's still alive. But I was like, but it kind of is, because I was still like stunned by this, knowing that character.
Yeah.
So
it's funny. I was watching RDC talk about it, and they described it so funny. They were like, yo, Toji is so cold. He laid out a whole plan to wear out Gojo, to wait for him to turn off his infinity. And then they were like, the second Gojo raises his glasses and looks down, he's right. Toji's just right there, knife in his. No, that's not what he said. I'm sorry. He said the second he turned his power off, lifted his glasses, knife was already in his chest. And he was like, "Yo, that is so cold." And I was like, "Yo, that's amazing way to describe it."
I was like, "Your boy like exhales, like job well done."
Yeah.
I was like, didn't give him a second.
That man is on his P's and Q's.
But I love that, like, yeah, but it's like the whole time he's like, I'm wearing them down.
Yeah.
I'm
Just
wearing
give me a
them
second.
down.
Yeah.
But he's like also horse betting the whole time.
And they were talking about how like that scene where Gojo was a kid and Toji was behind him and Gojo looks back, and they're like, at that moment, that's when Toji was like, "Oh, I'm killing you." At some point, I'm killing you. So I don't like that you could see me. Nobody's ever done that. I'm killing you at some point. I was like, "Yo."
Oh, and I like
that
that chick, the blonde haired chick, was like, "Yeah, I wanted to study Toji, but he was like." She was like, he was the only one with all those special powers and a heavenly pact, but he wouldn't let me study him
of course
before he died.
Yeah.
I was like,
my
damn.
God. Yo, Toji is cold, yo.
Yeah. Oh, and did you catch when she rode off on the motorcycle? She was like, he didn't tell me what kind of woman was his type. I was like, what is with them in this type shit?
That's where homie got it from.
With this.
Yeah, that's where homie got it from.
Like they are wild.
That's when I was like, oh, that's where he got that from. Like, it was crazy.
I was like, I was like, what does this tell them about people?
I thought when she asked it that like she was gonna try to hit on him or something weird like that. I was like, I don't know where she's going with this.
This is how they figure people out. This is what tells them everything about them.
This is how they judge people. That's so funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to come back when they come back for the second part. Like, I'm hyped.
All I think about is My Hero. It's kind of it's terrible. It's not like I miss My Hero over this stuff. It's just I'm like, why isn't my like trifecta of
like all
things
at the same time?
I need like 3 things. I need a big 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Now it's like a scattered. Sometimes 3, sometimes not 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 2.
I need another thing to be popping off right now.
I feel that. Yeah.
If anybody out there knows of a third thing that's popping off right now, you know where you can send that thing. You can email us, siblingrivalryclash@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at srclash_pod. You could send a message to X at God damn it, I'm never gonna get it. You can X at us at srclash_pod, and you could tell me how slick my segues are getting, because I'm just getting good like that.
And professional, you feel me?
After 172 episodes, you could pat us on the back, you know?
We're professionals here.
We're getting to
That was me tightening my tie.
You know, if you congratulate us somewhere between 175 and 200, maybe we'll send you a t-shirt. Get that swag.
Yeah.
You know?
Why not?
That fresh swag. Maybe you'll get a Tiz Funko with those lifeless eyes.
I'll get a tattoo of whatever you want.
Done by...
It's gotta be coverable, though.
Done by Tiz's niece.
Yes. Yeah. It's gotta be coverable, though, if it's something wild.
Oh, no. I want you to get your own Funko made of you.
What you mean?
I want you to get a Tiz Funko.
A tattoo, or have a
Funko made? Made a Funko made of you.
How do I get a Funko made?
Can't you go on Etsy and get a 3D printed Funko of yourself?
Oh yeah, janky fake one.
Yeah.
I want an authentic one though. I want the little sticker on mine.
Get a Dunko.
Yeah, a Bunko.
A Bunko. No, Bunko's a game. You can't get a Bunko.
It's like Milton on one of the cheeks. Like, it's got the little, you know how 3D printed stuff leaves like the tabs on it that you gotta.
Yeah.
It's got those just still stuck on like the limbs.
My 3D printed Switch thing has like little spots that cut my fingers on the back.
Yeah, just randomly sharp plastic for no reason.
They keep sending me review things, and I'm like, no, it cuts my fingers.
I slice myself. And you know that's whoever's like making it at like after they 3D print it, they're just taking some dull scissors, like just cut it off real quick.
Get some sandpaper.
Yeah, file that joint down, make it nice and uniform. It's funny.
But all right, y'all, you know where to find us if you feel like it. Stop putting it in the light. It's so glary.
I can't help it. Yeah.
Put some shading on that other side. But yeah, other side.
I don't understand physics. I can't do this.
Put it in your other hand. I'm gonna help you. 'Cause you need to shade your boy. All right, putting it now. Put your other hand up.
Wait,
now,
the light's over here though.
No, it's not.
The light's here.
But it's not.
This is the light that's reflecting off of it. Hold on.
But it's not. It's the other side that's too bright.
Oh. I don't know. It's fine. This is how he glows in the anime. It's fine. This is how he's meant to glow. It's the moonlight.
It's way too bright on the other side. All right.
It's the moonlight shining on him.
We're gonna sign out with Luffy. Amaterasu. Luffy.
Can we say it in unison?
What are we gonna say?
Gil?
Five.
Yeah. All right. You want me to count down?
Yeah.
It's gonna be so off because of the latency, but it's fine. 3, 2, 1. Gil?
Five.